Hey you guys, it's Lauren. Welcome back. So in today's video, I'll be testing out a ton of new makeup and I'm super excited because a lot of these items are first impressions for me, and the one item, this eyeshadow palette, this new Tarte palette, the Young, Wild, and Cruelty Free, or I think the real name for it is the Unleashed palette, but it's absolutely gorgeous and it's actually what inspired this look that I have on today, this blue lid. I never do a pop of blue like this, but I don't know, this palette's just so fun. It made me want to experiment, and yeah, super excited about this. And then also the Urban Decay Stay Naked Foundation and Concealer. This is not going to be a first impression. I have been testing this out over the last couple of weeks, and I have to say, my first love is the original Naked Foundation. So this had a lot to live up to, so you guys will see my thoughts on this. And then also this Charlotte Tilbury lipstick. It's funny, you'll see how this swatches. I ended up swatching it and trying it on, but it ended up just completely clashing with this cool toned eye. But you'll get to see how the shade looks because I know this is a really popular one. And then what else? This new lip gloss that I'm loving, this blush that everybody's been raving about. So yeah, a lot of new things to try, lots of new things to talk about. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so I already did my skincare. I first moisturized with the La La Retro. This is the new moisturizer from Drunk Elephant. The old one didn't have ceramides and the new one has ceramides, and this is super moisturizing. I love it, but the main reason I love it under makeup is it just works well with like any foundation. It doesn't pill or anything. It just gives my dry skin that moisture it needs. So I love that moisturizer. And then I'm gonna go in with my Super Goop SPF of 40. This is their Unseen sunscreen. I love this stuff. I feel like I've been talking about the sunscreen in like every recent video of mine, but it's just so great because it's clear, and so obviously it eliminates any possibility of a white cast, and it goes on like a primer. It reminds me a lot of the Smashbox, the Photo Focus primer, and it just really fills in your pores and just allows for like a nice smooth canvas. Makeup just goes on so nicely and so smoothly over it. I feel like, I don't know, if you're on the oily side, this might be a little too greasy feeling for you, but I just love it. It keeps my dry skin hydrated all day. It's just so great. And then let's first do eyes. I want to go in with this new eyeshadow palette. Guys, I was so excited about this palette. I don't know if you've seen this. I feel like it came out and then people talked about it for a little bit and then it kind of went away. But I spotted this. Ulta had a $10 off. I think it was $10 off 35, which it included prestige brands as well. And we all know I did not need any more makeup, but I was browsing Ulta's website. I saw this palette and I just had to jump on it. This shade selection is absolutely gorgeous. I was so excited when I saw this. It comes with this little overlay piece, which is super cute. But this is the Tarte Unleashed palette, and oh my gosh, look at the gorgeous colors in here. Love that you had your cool tones on the top, and then you had these pops of warmer tone colors. You had a nice cool tone transition. This mauve shade was really pretty, and then this teal I just thought was stunning. I love the pop of blue, and then it was just such a nice variety. I just love that it was a mainly neutral palette, but then it had these pops of colors in here so you could kind of mix up your looks, which I always look for that in a palette. I'm just such a neutral toned kind of girl when it comes to eyeshadow, but every so often I like a pop of color. So let's see, what do I want to do here today? I think I want to play with this Party Animal shade, this blue shimmer. I just think that looks so pretty. And then the base of my eye will just be a neutral look. So let me go in with my ColourPop. This is the ColourPop concealer. This is like standard for me when it comes to an eyeshadow primer. When it sets, it's pretty drying, which obviously isn't great for my dry under eyes, but my lids can get pretty greasy, and that dryness just, I don't know, it acts as a glue for my eyeshadows. So there's not really a great shade for an all over color. It has this icy white shade. It's probably a little bit too bright for an all over color. So let me just use a setting powder just to set my lid. I'm just using my Hourglass setting powder. And then for a transition color, I'm gonna go in with this warm toned orangey shade. This is called Toucan Do It. The names in here are super cute. I guess this palette is supposed to be inspired by the rainforest, which is kind of strange just because I thought this would be more of a green based palette. I don't know, I guess I think of trees and foliage and leaves, not necessarily all these oranges and reds and these blues. But now that I'm looking at all the colors, it looks like it's based off of all the animals in the forest. So it's a pretty cute concept. And I'm obsessed with this packaging. Like, how pretty is that holographic outside packaging? It's so pretty. And the palette's really weighted too, so it feels like, you know, a luxury palette. It's really nice. This shadow, I love this color. I actually thought it was gonna be too warm toned, but I don't know, it's really pretty. How pretty is that? It's orange, but neutral in a sense. It's just, I don't know, it's a fun pop of color. It's something different for a transition color. I think it's really pretty. Okay, and then just on the outer V, I'm gonna go in with this Bare Necessity shade, this dark milky brown. And I'm using this Morphe brush. This is from the Jaclyn Hill brush collection. I'll make sure to link all the tools that I'm using down below too, by the way. Let me get in a little closer for you guys. Okay, this is blending out really nicely. I can usually tell if I'm gonna like a shadow when I'm using a darker shade because, I don't know, they're usually the shadows that will show muddiness or patchiness. And that went on really, really smooth. Wow, okay, these shadows, they blended out really nicely together. I love that orangey tone with that muddy milky brown. I think it looks really pretty. Okay, let me cut out the crease. I'll go back to that ColourPop concealer. I don't know about you guys, but I have been in just like such an eyeshadow rut recently. Like no palettes have really excited me, and I don't know, I guess after so long you buy just so many palettes. It's like how many different cool toned and warmer toned palettes can you actually buy? It's just, it gets out of control. But this palette just really caught my eye. First of all, it was the packaging, and like I said, the color selection I just thought was so pretty. When I cut the crease, I like to have the inner corner really precise, and then the outer corner, I just kind of blend with my finger just to give it a more like diffuse look on that outer edge. And then I always go back in with that outer corner color that I used just to bring that shade in. All right, so now let's go into this blue shimmer shade, this Party Animal shade. Oh, it looks so pretty. Let me swatch it for you guys. Doesn't feel that creamy. Not as creamy as the mattes anyway. Let's see how this swatches. Ooh, see it got a little patchy there. Let me blend it in a little bit. Ooh, check that out. That looks so pretty. It's so reflective and really opaque too. Let's see how it goes on the lid. Oh my gosh, I love that. It's almost like a mix between a blue and a green. Like an aquamarine color. I don't even think I'm gonna need my finger here. It actually has better pigmentation on the lid than I thought it was gonna have. So I just wet my brush with the Smashbox, the primer water, just to see, I wanna see if I can smooth out the edges a little better. Just for the heck of it, let's see how this looks. Wow, okay, so a ton of pigmentation, but I don't know if you can tell when I wet my brush on this side, it took away all those silvery, larger glitter flecks. There must be like a glittery overlay almost. But check out that pigmentation. It's so saturated. Oh my god, it's so pretty. Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with that. All right, let me go in with this gold color, this Irrelevant color. So cute. Okay, we'll do that on the inner rims. Okay, then I'll do a little brow highlight with the shade Swan Song up here. This is more of like an eggshell color. It looks like there's a little bit of shimmer, but not too bad. I don't like a real shimmery brow highlight. I almost like a matte brow bone highlight. I think it's a little bit more flattering. And then for my lower lash line, I think I'm gonna go back into the transition color that I use, this Toucan Do It shade, just to bring that same color all the way around my lid. I actually really like this color. I'm not a huge like warm tone fan all the time. I feel like I always go for cooler tones, but I do think the warmer tones really bring out the green in my eye. Fun. Oh, I think that's so pretty. I need to do more pops of blues these days. I think it's so, I don't know, it's so different, and it's so 80s too. I'm obsessed with the 80s. Me and my husband have been watching a lot of Stranger Things these days. We're on season 3. So good, but I don't know, it's just all the clothing and the hairstyles. It just, I don't know, it brings me back. Not that, I mean, how old was I? I was 6 when the 80s ended, so I didn't experience it for that long, but it's still, I don't know, it was just such a fun time. Also too, I don't know if you guys are Housewives fans, but on the reunion, the Beverly Hills reunion, Kyle had this amazing neon green dress on. I think Lisa did too, but they looked so pretty. I'm like, I need a lime green dress in my life. I never thought I would say that, but they looked amazing. So I'm going in with my Glossier Brow Flick. Now, sometimes, see, it's depositing the color a little patchy right now, but I just love the cool tone shade of this. It just matches my brows so perfectly. And it lasts a long time too. It almost dyes your skin, but not permanently, just until when you wash your makeup off. So it's great for, especially the heat of the summer. It just is, I found it to be a nice long-lasting brow product. And it gives you that stenciled look without being, I don't know, too dramatic. It's nice and natural, but it makes you look put together too. So I just love it. Then I'm just doing a quick wing with my NYX Epic Ink Liner. This has been such a staple recently. It's just so easy to use. You just literally like 2 flicks and you're done. It's so easy. All right, and then let's go in with mascara next. So the Unleashed palette actually came with the new Big Ego mascara. It's a little sample size. I actually didn't even know that Tarte released a new mascara. I don't know where the heck I've been, but I had no idea this came out. But the claims look pretty promising. It's supposed to be a volumizing mascara that's supposed to be long wearing. It's supposed to be separating. Lots of big claims on this. And the fact that this has this huge fluffy brush got me really excited, because something about like these big fluffy hourglass shaped brushes just get me really excited. I feel like they always distribute the mascara really well. So let's try this guy out. It's not super wet as I'm applying it. I'm getting separation. I'm not getting any clumps or anything. All right, so I just re-dipped it back into the tube, and that definitely helped. Something about a tester mascara, I just feel like you can never trust it. It's never as good as the full size, but this is actually looking really good. Wow, look at that drama. Ooh. So the nice thing about this, it seems to be really buildable. I'm not getting that clumpy, spidery lash look as I'm reapplying. It even dried down a little bit just there, so that's a good sign. Okay, so really pretty. Definitely gives you that like false lash effect. But yeah, we'll see how this wears, and I'll keep you guys posted on that. And then, okay, let's see. Let's go into foundation next. So I was so pumped to pick this up. This is the Urban Decay Stay Naked Foundation. Everybody is talking about this. There's a ton of videos out right now, but as soon as I saw this was going to be released, I had to pick it up. I was just such a fan of the original. That is just the perfect like dewy foundation for my dry skin. It sits so nicely and it feels so lightweight. That stuff is literally, it's so thin, but there's so much pigment in that foundation. It's just, oh, it's so good. And I'm so bummed they discontinued it. But I was excited about this because I was hoping that, you know, it would be a matte foundation, which they're claiming this is a matte foundation that's medium to buildable coverage, and it's supposed to have a natural finish. There's also 50 shades. So the shade selection was awesome, but just the fact that I might be able to get a matte finish on my dry skin and it might be just as hydrating and lightweight feeling as the original had me really excited. So like I said, this is not my first impression. I have tried this out before, but I wanted to show you guys how it applied on camera. So let's go in on the one side and I'll do a comparison. I picked up the shade 30NN, which was the neutral undertone, but it's a pretty good shade match for me. It might be a little light for me right now. I'm on the tanner side since it's, you know, in the summer, but it does look pretty good as far as the shade goes. Now, when I first applied this, I was super impressed by the coverage and the finish of it. Like, do you see how that just like literally erases all my imperfections? Like, look at that. Oh, it's so good. The finish is absolutely gorgeous. Now for me, when I first applied this, I thought this was just as lightweight as the original. It felt just so light and airy on my skin. So I was really excited about it, but I have to say, as it sets, it really almost, I don't know, it feels like it just feels drying on my skin, and it feels like it kind of sucks the life out of my skin, if I'm being honest. I just wish this was more hydrating. So that was the big bummer for me with this. It's unfortunate because I really think the finish is so pretty, and I just love the matte finish of this because it's a matte finish, but it has a natural look to it. Like, you can still see some shininess on my skin, so I love that about that, but unfortunately it's just a little drying on my skin. I just want them to bring back the original. When I heard that it was discontinued, I just could not believe it. I'm like, no way, they have to be reformulating it. So I thought this was going to be just a reformulation, but unfortunately it's the matte version, and like I said, it's just a little more drying than the original was, and it doesn't have that, you know, pretty dewy finish that I like. I just turned down my light so you could see this a little better on my skin, but it really sits nicely over my more textured areas. Like, over my pores, it just literally floats over my pores. It doesn't sink into them. You'll see that it's medium coverage. Yeah, my sunspot is still showing, so it doesn't have the highest amount of coverage, but it's definitely a buildable foundation, and it feels lightweight as of when you first apply it. But like I said, as it sets, at least for me, throughout the day, it just feels heavier and tighter and just pretty drying. I'm gonna go in with a second layer here so you guys can see how it builds on itself. It really does build on itself nicely. It doesn't really look heavy or makeup-y at all. It has, like I said, a really nice natural finish, which I really like. It's just unfortunate that it feels so drying on the skin. This does have denatured alcohol on the ingredient list as well. I think it's actually 4th up on the list. It probably needs that alcohol to dry it down to give it that powdery matte finish. So yeah, it just feels heavy. I wish it was just as hydrating as the original, but unfortunately it's not. I hope they bring it back. Maybe they can advertise the Stay Naked for oily skin types, and then maybe they can bring back the original and that can be their naked foundation for our drier skin types, because just such a bummer. It just feels so drying and heavy on the skin. But the finish, like I said, is absolutely gorgeous. All right, and then as far as the concealer goes, I picked up the same shade. I also picked up 30NN in the concealer. Let me show you guys a side by side so you can see the difference in the shades. The foundation's actually slightly darker than the concealer, which I like that they did that, because then there's no guessing games when it comes to picking out your concealer shade. You don't have to worry about going a shade or two lighter. Just find out your shade, pick the same shade in your concealer and your foundation. So the concealer is also meant to have a matte finish, but a natural finish like the foundation, but this claims to be full coverage rather than the medium coverage like the foundation is. And I learned that with this concealer, a little bit goes a long way. You definitely don't want to go overboard. It sets pretty quickly, so just keep that in mind. You don't really have a lot of time to work with it, but the coverage is absolutely insane. Like, you don't even see my sunspot anymore. It covers literally everything. But I have to say, I tested this out a few times. One day I wore it to the pool. I loved it when I left the house, and then when I got home and looked in the mirror, I was horrified. It just really breaks up a lot and just makes it look really obvious that you're wearing concealer, especially in the inner corners of my eyes. That's where I noticed it the most, and it was the most obvious. I'm gonna insert a picture of me when I came back from the pool, and yeah, just my foundation still looked great. I was wearing the Stay Naked foundation, but underneath my eyes just looked so crepey, and all my lines were accentuated, and it was just really broken up in the inner corners. So not the greatest long wearing concealer, but the coverage is awesome. But I don't know. I just don't think it's worth the money, the $29. Now the foundation, however, it is super long wearing on my dry skin. As a matter of fact, I wore it to my husband's baseball game to test it out. It was 90 degrees, but it felt like 100 degrees because there's blacktop everywhere. You could see the steam coming off of blacktop. It was so hot that day, and I was running after my 3-year-old, and I had the baby in my hands, so I was practically dripping sweat. And I got to my car and I'm like, oh my gosh, my makeup is gonna look horrible. There's no way this foundation is still on. But you know what, I should have took a picture that day. But my foundation, it looked really good. My skin still looked flawless. It broke up in a few areas, but not too bad at all. It's awesome if you're looking for a long wearing matte foundation. And if you have oily skin, it probably wears amazing. But yeah, I just wish it didn't feel as heavy as it does. I almost, like, even now as it's setting, I just can't wait to wash my face tonight. But I love the look of it. It just feels heavy and drying. I'm using the Lila B bronzer. I haven't reached for this in a while. I'm obsessed with this bronzer. It's pretty light, but it looks so natural. And see how it really just warms up my face? And it's a really forgiving bronzer as well. Like, I could throw this on without a mirror and I don't have to worry about any streakiness or it looking orange. It's just so natural. It's such a pretty bronzer. I'm obsessed. All right, then I'm just gonna do a quick little nose contour. I just got the shade Light in the Kevyn Aucoin Sculpting Powder, and it is literally the perfect contour shade. I originally had the medium shade in that it's like a little duo. It's from Sephora. It's $25. I picked that up because I couldn't see stomaching the $44 for a sculpting powder, but I scooped this up because I saw it was available on Octoly. And now, you know what? I am all about this light shade. I thought the light would be too light for me, but with my skin tone, the light is just perfect. It just gives like just enough shadow. It's not too much. See how like that line isn't even obvious? You guys will have to let me know if you know of a good contour powder at the drugstore. Somebody recommended to me one of the NYX eyeshadows. I think it was in the shade Taupe, I want to say. I looked for it though recently at Ulta and I didn't see it, so I don't know if it's something that has been discontinued, but I'm so interested to find something that is cheaper because I hate to recommend a $44 contour powder. I know it's completely outrageous, but it really is just the perfect contour shade. And I just picked up this new Catrice blush. This is their blush in a box. It's such a pretty, like, I don't know, like peachy nude color. It's not too pigmented, it's not too dark. It just looked like the perfect everyday blush. So really excited about this. I haven't used this yet. So let's see how this, first let's see a swatch. Sometimes I hate to swatch a blush. They never really do it justice. It looks really light. I don't know, might be too light. Let's see how this applies on the cheeks. And so far, so good. Oh, this reminds me of that Kylie blush I picked up that I really like. It's that like perfect summery blush, really pretty. Now, if you're a darker skin tone, it might be a little too light for you. It's not the most pigmented blush, but I don't know, I like it. I just like the natural vibe it gives, so that's fun. I like it a lot. I've been obsessed with blushes recently. I don't know why, just especially in the summer, like if I'm running out the door, if I'm in a rush, I just feel like adding a blush over foundation just adds so much life to your face. It just makes such a difference. I just think blush is so fun. Along with lip products, I'm such a sucker for new lipstick releases, and I saw Charlotte Tilbury's Hot Lips 2 line, and I saw the shade In Love with Olivia, and I'm like, oh my god, that is like my nude shade. I could not wait to pick it up, and I've been loving this. It's almost like a spicy nude. It reminds me a lot of the shade Super Cindy in her original Hot Lips line, but this has a little bit more pink to it. Oh, it's just such a pretty shade. Let me just show you a swatch of that. Like, how pretty is that pink? It just has a little bit of spice to it, but it's just that perfect pinky nude. Just love it. It has like a little bit of a coral vibe to it too. So it's great for the summer, but it can also transition into the fall months because it has that spicy vibe to it as well. I love it. And it has a little bit of a sheen. So I just went downstairs for a baby wipe and another lip color because I think the coral in this lip shade is a little bit too warm toned for the eyeshadow. So yeah, I just wanted to change it. I love the Charlotte Tilbury shade, but I'm just not used to wearing these like cool tone blues, and I don't know. I think it's a little bit, like I said, too warm toned for this look. So I'm just gonna blot a little bit of this ABH lip shade on my lips. This is the shade Milkshake, just to get that redness out. And then a little bit of the NYX, this is the lip shade Peekaboo Neutral. Love this lip liner. This is such a great like universal lip liner shade. Oh yeah, this will look so much better. So I picked up this Milani lip plumper. This is in the shade Bare Pink. Everybody's been raving about these glosses, so I wanted to give them a try. And oh gosh, I've been loving them. The doe foot applicator is just so like fluffy, and I don't know, it reminds me of the Fenty Gloss Bombs. It's so good, and this color is amazing. I love it. It's so pretty. It's like a wearable bubblegum pink. I love it. This is the shade I wore like all the time in high school. I feel like I always wore these tones. But yeah, I think that looks a little bit better. The pink with the blue, I think, goes a little better. So yeah, that was just bothering me. Like I said, I love that Charlotte Tilbury lip shade, just not with the blue. It was just too much. But that is it for this look. I hope you guys enjoyed. This was really fun. I love just like testing out new makeup. I could play with makeup all day long, I swear. So it's fun to share it with you guys. And I guess as far as final thoughts go, so that Tarte palette, I am loving this. I think I'm gonna get a lot of use out of this. I just love the shade selection in here. The mattes are unbelievably creamy. They're just so good. And the shimmers definitely aren't as pigmented as the mattes, but with a little wetness added to your brush, it just does the trick. And the color, you just get the most saturated color, especially with this electric blue shade. So I'm just really excited about this. I love the packaging, I love the mirror in this. It's just a really fun palette. And then the Stay Naked concealer and foundation. So the concealer, like I said, if you're gonna pick up one of the two, I would say maybe avoid the concealer. I just think for the price to get a concealer that breaks up throughout the day is just not worth it to me. It feels really lightweight and the coverage is insane, but yeah, it just breaks up on my dry skin. If you have a different skin type than me, you might love this. It just, I don't know, it just shriveled up and made my under eye look so creepy. So not a big fan of the concealer. And then as far as the foundation goes, again, I think it might come down to skin type. With my dry skin, this just feels heavy and tight on the skin. It feels way too drying. I don't think I would repurchase this. I do, again, the finish is unbelievably gorgeous. It covers every flaw and it really does last throughout the day. But I just can't wait to get this off my face. And I don't know, I feel like I get the same kind of look from my Too Faced Born This Way foundation. This just, yeah, it's just too drying for me. If you have an oily skin type, you might love this. And I don't know if you're okay with the heavy feel. I mean, because it doesn't look cakey. It does have that natural finish. It gives you that velvety matte finish. The finish is gorgeous. It just feels too heavy for me on my dry skin. But maybe give it a try if you're oily. I just wish they would bring back that original Naked foundation. That was just one of my ride or die foundations. I'm so upset that that's gone. It was so dewy and lightweight, and it just made your skin look just so refreshed and young looking. I'm so bummed. And the Charlotte Tilbury, love the shade, love the formula, but it just didn't go with this look. And this Milani gloss, oh my gosh, absolutely obsessed. I need more shades of this. Awesome buy at the drugstore. I've heard this is a dupe for the Buxom full-on lip creams, and I can see why people say that because it has that minty flavor. It's not as long wearing as the Buxom lip glosses because it's super creamy. It's not tacky like the Buxom glosses, but super creamy on the lips, and I just love the shade. I need to pick up more shades. It looks like there's a lot of great news in the line, so I'm excited about that. All right, so that is it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was so fun. I love playing with new makeup, and especially when I can do it on camera and share it with you guys. I just love it. I'm also testing a ton of new foundations recently. I think I'm testing out like 5 or 6 or something crazy like that. I think I might just combine them all and do one big foundation review video. Let me know if you guys would be into it, or if you'd rather me just do like separate review videos. But I don't know, I think it might be fun to just do kind of like a Spitfire review video just to kind of lump them all together. But let me know what you guys think, and also let me know if there's any foundations that you guys are interested in. I thought I had all the foundations that I wanted to test together, but I just saw that Anastasia Beverly Hills just released that new luminous foundation, and I'm all about a dewy look, so I might pick up that too. But let me know if there's any others you'd like me to test. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. See you guys.